Cameroon is a nation endowed with immense natural resources and human capital. It is in a paradoxical crisis of education. The paradoxical crisis that we have in our educational system is causing commotion at the level of those who are also out of the country. The recent protests by PhD holders demanding government employment and also faulting the government for not employing them is a stark reminder of a systemic flaws of our educational system. Our educational system whereby they thought and they want that government should be the one to employ them. However, it is nothing short of an academic insult to see PhD holders protesting with placards that government should employ them. It is not also short of the fact that they are diminishing and rubbishing Cameroon's educational system before international community and making many to ask the question, what do they do in Cameroon as PhD? If we can see PhD holders protesting government employment, how much ranking are we going to have with our educational system and respect across Africa and the world with PhD holders actually protesting? PhD holders are supposed to be the front runner of job creation, because PhD holders are people who are supposed to be trained with innovation, creativity, and skills that will be able to improve our economy and change our national growth in terms of impacting our growth and development. However, we have seen them over the years protesting and crying and asking for government employment, and then it begs the question, what are our PhD students defending? What are they studying at the level of PhD? Who oversees their PhD thesis? Are they just doing this PhD thesis to have a name or to be an educational meal whereby PhDs are being produced? What value are the degrees? Are they focusing on projects that are based on solving real-time problems, or they are focusing on aesthetic programs that will just make them to be called doctors rather than becoming experts in a particular field? What do they do after they end the PhD thesis? Do they just file it in a cupboard and publish it in a journal to say, doctor, this published? Or do they actually do this PhD to solve real-time challenges and problems? These are many more questions that many people are asking, and some will tell you that it is their constitutional right to go before a government and to ask that government should employ them. But should we go by this constitutional right? What of those who are master's degree holders? Should they also not join the PhD in protesting? What are those that are first degree holders? Don't they also enjoy the constitutional right to be employed? What of those who end at the level of advanced level? Don't they also have the constitutional right to protest for government employment? What of those who also are at the level of first school, or those who have not even gone to school, who also believe that it is a government policy? The government has the number one obligation to protect lives and property and ensure that they are also in a better living standard. If we look at all these plethora of issues, one may be tempted to ask the question that our universities, how best are they training students? Are they training more of job seekers than job creators within a 21st century whereby everything must not be centered on the government? With all of this, you would definitely be tempted to say that Cameroon's educational system, it is not just only in crisis, it is also in a situation that mocks and put the nation on a mockery for other nations. Other nations are laughing at us and asking and making us to feel that our degrees are not valid. But they should also understand that our degrees are valid. It's just a mentality crisis where people feel so much endowed and so much entitled, an entitlement syndrome which is based on 3 alphabetical words or letters: A, B, C, accuse, blame, and condemn. Where we think that if we have PhD, we have the right to determine what should be done. If we have PhD, we must have a job, we need the government. That is the entitlement syndrome. The onus lies in the hands of our policymakers, because for far too long, they have made people to understand that creativity and innovation is determined by how much grammar you can speak, not on how much knowledge you have, not on how much critical thinking you have, but how much grammar or how much French you can articulate today. If you articulate very well in English, you will be applauded that wow, you are an educated, in fact you are a very, very intelligent person. And if you cannot articulate so well in English, they will mock, laugh at you. And the question is, the man in the village who is best on creating employment and impacting the village community, is that man also not educated? Or should we say that it is he who can speak the grammar, understand creativity? What of those in China who cannot speak the grammar, who speak the Mandarin? How much innovations are we seeing from Chinese as compared to those that speaks the Queen's language or speak the language of Emmanuel Macron? However, our policymakers have a good responsibility to play. No wonder Professor Bernard Fallon, in his book titled The Genuine Intellectual, he said, and I quote, education is a university is not for the mindless mob, but for the talented tent. He says that any university that do not have a library, research facilities, and that enables students to be critical thinkers, such universities are more of glorified secondary school. And the protest of PhD holders is making us to look within the lens of Professor Bernard Fallon to think that most of our universities are more of glorified secondary schools. If we see PhD holders protesting, then it means the master degree holders are in hell. Not to talk of the first degree, the HND holders. Our policymakers must do more to revamp our educational system, to make it more pragmatic, to make it more focus-based and education of resilience, where students are able to solve real-time problems, where PhD holders must show proof of innovation, creativity, and impactfulness in their research. If not, we will be hallowing and crying in the wilderness that, O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers, thy holy shall reign in our midst, the now repose. Thy tears and blood and sweat, the soiled water on the hills and valleys, once thy tillage rose. This is House of Commons. To me, Tamai Jarvis. Happy Sunday if you are just joining us, and welcome to the program House of Commons with me, Mike Jarvis. Here in the studio, we are joined by our panelists. Mr. Emmanuel is a member of the civil society. Happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Jarvis. Good morning, dear panelists. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today. Special greetings to my fellow mates who are there in Noni listening to me talking today, and to the entire Noni people. We are coming from a week-long activities with a lot of happenings. We started from receiving the threat in the East region, intercommunity fight, and then to crown it all, we have the recent happening, the downgrading of our Cameroonian system of education by the PhD holders who sat down singing the national anthem while sitting down and clamoring for jobs. It's actually a call for concern, and the thousands of questions people are asking, we are asking ourselves is, who is the cause and who is to be blamed? First, it's actually a problem. Let's look at our educational system. The PhD students, in fact, they are simply reproducing, demonstrating what they have been taught. It means that they have gone to school for over 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, and they have been taught how to come back and teach, and that is how it has been structuring. If not, you will not see PhD students clamoring the government to give them jobs. And what type of jobs are they asking? A teaching job. Did we hear them asking the government to give them a NAM, police, and other jobs? No. They are clamoring for the government to give them teaching jobs, to employ them in universities, which means that they actually went to school with all the orientations to come and teach. But then, in contemporary society, a PhD student a PhD holder is supposed to be a job creator. And we have had it. You just said in your introduction, that when you started Fonlon as that universities in Cameroon, or not that university in Cameroon, that if a university is not well amplified, it is a glorified secondary school. I have a lecturer back then in the University of Yaoundé who left Italy and came to teach. When he entered the university campus, he said, "Take me to the library." I took him to the library. He said, "This is just an amplified secondary school. I am not teaching," and left. He said the University of Yaoundé is an amplified secondary school. He is not teaching there. He left and went. He's a Cameroonian. Left and went back to Italy. That is just to tell that our education and the system, we have a lot to improve. We need a lot, and it's going to be a complete system of change in order to achieve our aim. We have had it. How do they go about having PhD when they don't know the particular directions? I asked myself, I was a philosophy student, what becomes of me with a degree in philosophy, with a master's in philosophy, and even with a PhD in philosophy, if I have had all of them? Should I only concentrate in teaching, or that after the PhD I should go into teaching? What about others in the literature department? The PhD in literature, English, history, all of them are aimed at teaching. Now we have seen even those in the science department, the science faculty, biomedical science, chemistry, and so forth and so forth. All of them, everybody is aiming to teach. Whereas we are supposed to have a system like in other places. We're supposed to have a system where they trained us how to create. This training should start from school, and now the problem goes back to the government. The system of education they've kept in place is actually producing what we have now. It is a system that has been kept in place that is exactly produce we are actually having the product. This is not the first time the PhD students are striking. The last time, and this time around, they are unfortunate that police officers and Janam did not get them well beaten. The last time they had it, they were well rough-handed by police officers. So it goes on to say that, like the minister, when I followed the conversation between the minister and the PhD student, at the end of the day, they themselves, after everything, when apologizing to the minister that they will never do it again, which means that it was another form of re-education. The minister actually, though he used his semantics and politics and logic to render their claim useless, because they actually said, if like in University of Ebolowa, in the Faculty of Law and Political Science, they needed only one person and 100 people applied. Why should the government launch provide one position, knowing fully well that there are thousands of people out there? If actually they were PhD students who are being trained to go for the teaching position. And that is why he gives us the reason to think that the suspension of the PhD program that the minister instituted some years ago, it actually came. He already anticipated this particular problem coming, that many of them are going to be scrambling for few jobs, few teaching positions out there. And be rest assured, they are going to launch they have already launched the third recruitment process, but not all of them. How many of them? There are more than 2,000 PhD students.
Okay.
Who they are going to launch, and not all of them will be recruited. But I want to say something here. There's something that the fatherland does not forget. When you betray the fatherland, when you saw the fatherland, it does not forget. Those PhD students who actually took the ropes and sat on the floor singing, that was a betrayal of the fatherland that went international, and it is never going to be forgotten and forgiven. Thank you.
Mr. Eze, your brief reaction on that before we move to the topic of the day.
Yes, Mr. Javis, good afternoon, all the televiewers of My Media Prime. It's a pleasure again that I'm here today to actually contribute my own portion in nation building. Javis, you come to understand that at one time in this same plateau, I told you that Cameroon is suffering from a copy and paste system of education. and that is a system that was copied from the colonial master, and to date we are still with that system. So he has a big problem. Those who call themselves PhD holders, Davis, you understand the games that we play to have this PhD in Cameroon, all of us, we know. But what am I saying here is, I know PhD holders, their place are supposed to be in the university, carrying out research to increase knowledge and maybe to create jobs. But when it comes to a situation that the PhD holders, they come out in the street and they are now protesting to have job, I begin to ask myself, when they were studying, what was their ambition of studying? Well, I know when you study, the first ambition that you are going to school is that at the end of the course, at the end of your PhD, you should be able to put food on your table. And if you cannot put food on your table at the end of a PhD study, it means it was a waste of time. It also means the system of education needs to be questioned. That's why I said, one teacher told me when I was still in higher school, Mr. Davis, he said, if we have students that we call them science students, they should be able to take fambu. If you know what is called fambu, they should be able to take fambu and transform it to something. Rather than that, every day they come, they start looking at the part of the leaf, dissecting frogs and all the like. Things that they have been repeating every day, every day. What is the outcome of all this education in Cameroon? There is a problem with the educational system. You see that we are just literate people. We cannot create job for ourselves. In your introduction, you said, if PhD people are crying, what about masters? What about first degree? What about advanced level? I feel that there is a rethink, that the government of this country should rethink about the educational system in this country. I think that is the reason why many are encouraging today that our children should rethink of especially choosing between the general education and the technical education. Because with the technical education, Mr. Javis, you'll bear with me now, somebody that is just out from maybe with a CAP certificate can create a job for himself, can create a whole world for himself more than somebody that has a PhD.
Okay.
And therefore, I am saying that the PhD holders should not go out again because it's a shame to themselves.
Sitting with their rope.
Sitting with their rope and what we hold, the esteem that Cameroonians hold or look forward. There are people that are supposed to show example for others to follow. And even if there was something of that nature, I don't think the better way to do it was for them to go out with their academic robes and sit on the floor.
Singing the national anthem on the floor.
Mr. Davis, I am sorry.
Okay.
My words will not be very welcoming, but I think that was an unpatriotic act on the part of the PhD holder, and I think they should be called to order. Okay,
we'll just talk about briefly before we get to our panel, our main guest here today, just briefly. Now, let me get you. You saw the images coming from Yaoundé. You saw how the PhD holders were there on the floor singing the anthem. And these are the same persons who probably had done civics and ethics and all the rest. But how do we reconcile this, that you are a PhD holder, you are protesting against the fact that you have not been employed by the government? What of the person who has master's degree? What of the person who has first degree? What of the person who HND? What of the person who first school living certificate? As many will say, somebody told me, Boya, that it is their constitutional right to demand. So if everybody wants to go by that constitutional right, will we survive? Briefly.
When you look at the images and the video, even from the discussion the Minister of Higher Education had with them, you actually see that first, they were a group of people motivated by political gains, not achieved, who instigated that type of a thing. Because I have my classmates who are part of the PhD. I went to him and told him, bro, you just defended the PhD some two years ago. What's this? You're already in the street. Is that what you were? He went ahead. He's my classmate. I said, but why are you doing that in the street with a rope? He said, we are looking for this. Our government is very bad. I said, okay. You have actually robbed the academic, how did I put it? The integrity of academics.
Yeah, because how will international community see us now? See the PhD holders.
We know that Cameroonian universities are being ranked among the lowest in terms of research and productivity. But we shouldn't be the one to actually demonstrate that PhD, a doctor of philosophy, you go on sitting on the floor. And that's why, as Elias said, the father alone does not forgive. It does not forget. It can forgive, but it will never forget that you actually rubbish the national treasure. You are singing the national anthem while sitting on the floor. Singing the national anthem while conducting. Where have we seen that before? It is actually I've said it. They can play a blind eye to it, but one day someone somewhere will pay for it. And I'm going to encourage all of us out there. We have gone to school. We are actually aspire having a PhD, but I wouldn't stoop to be manipulated like the others. If I'm going for PhD, I will know exactly what I want. I can learn my bricklaying activities and have my PhD. I know I want to contribute to knowledge in a particular field. And if I'm having a PhD in academics, I know that I will not run after somebody, but let me contribute to something that is lacking in the bricklaying field. That is the way I look at it. And that's why we keep on encouraging them. Those people, I'm talking because I know many of them. While we in school in Yaoundé, we used to see each other. While we do go learning, we go to the chantier. They are there. They are going around, and that's the effect now because they think the government should do everything. What if everybody, like you earlier asked, what if all the degree holders, masters holders, if they come out to start complaining because it is our constitutional right to do that?
Yeah.
Where shall we?
Even the person that has not gone to school has a right to be employed.
Just the Department of Geography in the University of Yaoundé alone, it gathers more than 500 degree holders every year. So should they go to the street?
The mother in the village will also ask the government to employ if we are going by the constitutional right there. Thank you.
So it is something very, 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 very bad.
Okay.
I don't know how they feel. They think that the government can do everything, but I think the PhD should be orientated on productivity. We have the government part of the blame because it's actually a production of what they gave us.
Yes, so that we'll get to our guests, we round up this.
Like we are saying, I just want to say, when you go to the job market, the question that is asked is, what can you do? Coming out with a PhD, coming out with a master's degree, a degree advanced level, and there is a job opportunity, what can you do with that? I think there is a problem with the educational system. Maybe after your advanced level, you should be able to say if there is a job opportunity, you can easily enroll. I think that is the way I'm looking at it. Having a PhD,
like what we call added value.
Good.
Because in the other system, they say a part of just doing this, I can do this.
I can do this.
This is what I can
Having
do.
a PhD, they say there is a job opportunity here. Are you going to come and show your PhD? No. What can you do with it? I think that is the problem with the PhD and the certificate that we have in Cameroon. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me just please.
There's
something.
We'll go to our main guest. Yes.
There's something. Why is it that PhD students only are clamoring to be for teaching positions?
Because they are empty. If they don't teach, what can they do again?
Can they not clamor to write the police concours?
No.
Can they not clamor to go into other fields, go into the army? Or is it age? There's a problem somewhere.
There's age limit also.
I understand that there's age limit.
So that now will be based on policy. That's why we say policy makers, educators, university stakeholders must come together and look at policies that need to be shifted or need to be restructured such that it can be based on competent based and looking at reality. Because after 35 years in Cameroon, you cannot write concours. Now that limits the issue. But should we limit it only to government employment activities? Don't we have tap potentials in our country and our community? Thank you very much, gentlemen. And also, let me just read the message by introduce our very big guest here in the studio. Hello, Mr. Tamai. When we are growing, we were meant to understand that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow and that education is the key to success. After growing up, we discovered that the old people had swallowed the key to stay in power. I am Tubang writing from Noni. This other one writes, it says, to me, okay, this one says, good day, sir. Can you please make this program both calls and message? I started by studying science of education from undergraduate to postgraduate. PhD student. Now, let me tell you, the problem is the theoretical system of education. Education for social status, not to solve problems. Education is managed by politicians who knows nothing in education. Colonial curriculum education need change. Raymond writing from Boya. This other one says, thank you very much, very educative program. You had announced that you have the presidential candidate is okay. The presidential candidate is already here. Thank you, thank you very much. thank you very much. This other one says, I am really hoping to hear from the lady you say you are going to invite, because follow her on Prime R, very educative, and I really needed to listen. Please, Mom is here. This one says, our educational system needs total overhauling. How do you explain that PhD will be protesting with their robe, not to talk of singing the national anthem? Even if I don't like this government, I will arrest them. For this, only this reason, I will arrest them. You cannot be singing the national anthem of our beloved country, sitting on the floor. You can as well protest without singing the anthem. Or if you have to sing, you must respect it, because the anthem does not represent only Mr. Biya. It represents us as a nation and as a people. It's a shame that they are making the international community to say that our educational system is poor. This is going to affect a lot of students who are applying for scholarships and those who may want to apply for other programs out of Cameroon. They will be laughing at us and look at your PhD holder sitting on the floor and protesting. Is it what you got? More. That like an exclamation, more, employ us. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll just stay put, but we'll focus now on independent candidates. The question is, independent candidates in Cameroon 2025 presidential election, do they stand a chance? Here in the studio, we have a very good guest who is here with us. They say what a man can do, a woman can do it better, and that there is no longer behind any successful man. It's now in front of every successful nation. You must actually count the ladies, because the ladies have a great role to play. And one negotiator, William Uri, said that if you put women in front of the negotiating table, the world will know no crisis, no political and fight. But if you put men in front of the negotiation, that of course you know the right answer. We're here with Madam Carole Mbakop. Madam, welcome and happy Sunday. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the welcoming. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the co-panelists. And thank you for the people already asking for me. So I'm here on stage. Thank you.
Yeah, straight away, you watch or listen to the news and got the news of PhD holders protesting that government should employ them. You are a presidential aspirant looking forward to actually win the election in October.
Yes.
Now, when you watch that, what comes to your mind? What policy comes to your mind?
Okay. First of all, I want to say that the first blame should be on the government, that you don't really think, because everything is about foundation. When you want to lay a house, first of all, look for the place. After looking for the place, you call a technician to tell you if the ground can support the building you're about to put in place. I think our government went to the colonialism that we had. They just function in it. They just flow in it. They thought that education is good. They say, okay, let's educate children. But what education is good for Cameroonians? What are our challenges? What do we face on ground? It's due to that you train people and you expect results. So I want to say that the leadership, the governance has failed in doing their duty. But now when we talk about PhD degree holder, come on, we are talking about knowledge. We're talking about research. We are talking about people solving issues. They are not the ones supposed to ask for jobs. They are the ones supposed to tell it is true. They may propose and the government is not open. But you're not proposing job opportunities only to government. You can create enterprises. You can give an idea how to solve the issue of water in the nation. We have this, our technicians that have studied how to create some well and to create this story, how do you call it, this chateau.
Yeah.
Okay, we know it. We might not go to Kamwata to say this is the, no. We go to people that have studied it and we give them ideas how to make, catchment. That is it, how to make sure that the community should have water. We have hunger. I have a person, I'm not a PhD holder, but for 15 years, I've helped many communities where I went to how to solve their hungry problem. Okay, you have 15 of you here. You are dying of hunger because, first of all, one thing Cameroonians need to know, Cameroonians are not united. And that was paved long before we came on earth. Because to divide is better, because you can rule. When we look for different directions, the one in the middle that is manipulating us is eating the more. Yeah. He comes to you, tell that, you see that guy is not good. Oh, yes, that's what, oh, you give me the money, I eat. That's what our government is doing so long. And this is colonialism that is still entering in us. But if we come together as one, if we have a problem of 15 million, you cannot handle it alone. But if you have 50 of us, we can handle it and say, okay, this year we focus on this, and so on and so forth. But we have to learn it. So I can't really say I blame the PhD degree holder, because the fact they did that is to show they do not understand exactly what they carry. First, a nation is represented by his anthem. How possible people that have gone to school, full knowledge, full, sit on the floor to sing? Remember in the day of Trump, when the black was complaining, one basketballer knelt down to show he's unhappy. And the whole world community spoke about it. How can we see that in our educated people? That it is a world going upside down. And somebody said that when a Cameroonian will go and hire for further studies abroad, they will mock at him. And it's true that you are asking for school. Those who know school, look at the way they are behaving. So whatever we are doing is falling on our children, is falling on us, and the youth following us. So I can't buy it. All I want to say is, let our PhD degree holder go back, sit down and define what is school. Once they will know what is school is acquiring knowledge. When you acquire the knowledge, what are you doing with it? It's not for the government to pay you. It's for you to give the government, this contract. That, okay, I can solve this problem in Cameroon. What are you giving to me? You understand? So this is what I can say for now.
Which means that brings us to a question. What educational policy will you be proposing for Cameroon after you have seen some of these things?
For the good
this
question.
Is not the first time that PhD holders are protesting.
Yes. Meaning they are not learning from their protestation. We need to learn and grow. First thing we have to change. I like what my co-panelist said when I entered. We need to change. Mr. Asia, okay. We need to change the educational system of this nation. Totally. What are the needs of Cameroonians? What our challenges is due to that we train our children. What is the competition of other nations is due to that we train our people, so that when they come out, when the child comes out, he can solve a problem. We're talking about PhD degree holder. Children are solving problem at the age of 16, 7, 10, because the system is placed and oil, okay, to allow the child to express himself. We were waiting PhD degree. How many years? When you are born, let's say 4 people are going to school, children are going to school. PhD degree holder is 30 years of experience. That's 34 years. It's a child of 34 years that is complaining, when the child of 15, 20, and 35 will complain. You understand? We're thinking on the reverse. We need to wake up. It's a child of 15 years that should be complaining of what do I eat. And some of us, 41, 30 years, should say, okay, this is what you will eat. So we need to totally change the system of education. At the age of 4, a child should know that to eat, you need to work. That's a notion we need to give our children. I'm a mother.
Not an entitlement.
No.
That it is my right.
No.
Your right.
At the age of 4, a child knows that when I finish to eat, I wash my dish and go and keep it. You will not expect a child of 18 years to sit, cook, eat, put the dish for the nanny to wash. That child will grow to be an imbecile because he does not know responsibility. So our children are not being responsible. They did everything for us or for them, and when they grow, they expect that they should still do. You see a man of 60 years still complaining that he's not feeding. He's still on autonomy. It's something. No, it's something shocking, and we are not seeing that it's late. We complain and we put all the blame on the government. No, we should be responsible. Yes, the government was supposed to educate us. They failed. Now we can educate ourselves. That's first. The second thing, agriculture, industrialization. It's what we need to be able to bounce about other countries. A child should know that from age 0. When he's already going out to school, he should know that when I finish with corn here, I can grind corn and make flour. I can grind corn and make a puff or cake or whatsoever. So when the child grows at the age of 10, some of us, we so sweet when we go to school. I started my small business as a child at 6 years. Today is a taboo. They will say, no, my child should go to school. But which school are we talking about? So this is a real problem. So changing the whole system, introducing the need of Cameroon to the education of Cameroon. He said something very perfect. We are in a televiewers. We're in social education.
They were more into social.
Geography. When you come out as a geographer, forgive me, what are you doing?
And they look at someone who cannot speak good English as uneducated.
That is
someone who cannot speak good French as an illiterate.
That's the same thing I say. Please, when somebody cannot speak good English or good French, don't mind him. It's not his language. Mind him on what, like Mr. Asia said, what can he do? If he does it perfectly, then he's an educated person. And this is the system colonialism has brought to us. Until we take it out of our brain, we will still continue to kill our talent, our potential youth, because they cannot express what they are selling.
Okay, Mom, let me just do a follow-up. You as an independent aspirant presidential candidate,
Yeah.
you have articulated that you are going to change the educational system.
Yes.
You are going to remove the colonial educational system.
That is it,
and
yeah.
it should be based on practical base.
Practical
that
base.
you are going to bring in about, I think, 4 different things to change that. It will focus on agriculture, industrialization, technology, and energy.
Yes.
Now, how are we going to ensure that this is actually copied from all the base? Because in our elementary schools, like the primary schools, let me just say the kindergarten,
Yeah.
what they teach our children there is A, B, C, D, E, F, D, A, I, J. And when the child comes home, Junior, what did you study into A, B, C? Then the mother say, wow, Junior is good. But in China, that same child in kindergarten is doing practical things.
That is it. That is it.
So in these 4 ingredients now, how much energy are you going to put to make sure that people who don't want change receive the...
That is it. And in my manifesto, I call education a sovereign. I mean, this is a heartbeat of a nation. If somebody is not educated, don't expect him to have good manners, behaviors, and to respect the items, the flag, and everything. So education is the base. So as I said, the first year, as I'm going to swear at the Palace of Cameroonians, is to make sure all our teachers, all the teachers should first of all sit and ask themselves, what am I teaching? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Educational forum.
Yeah.
Going to cover educational
Yeah,
forum.
we're going to cover educational forum. What are we teaching? What did you discover? No, that is it. What did you discover in the nation that needs to be empowered, okay, to be boosted? That's where we are going for training. And I plan to train all the technician, the teachers to be technician teachers. When somebody is teaching geography, what is funny is that it's not even the geography of Cameroon. They're teaching you that Africa is based and what's the need?
Agricultural land use starting in Australia.
That is it.
Lumbering off the coast of Norway, fishing off the coast of Japan and Norway, and that child will end up not even going to Norway or does not even have a passport. And I ask the question, don't we have fishing off the coast of Douala?
You ask him where Susa is based, he cannot tell you. I'm coming from Compania, that's why I came late. Where is Compania? He cannot tell you. Where is CDC? He cannot tell you because the geography they are teaching him is for white people. How can you expect such a child to produce? He cannot produce.
And it's true because I remember in my geography I had to draw the map of Australia, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Manitoba, this, that. And you ask me like you are saying where is Compania located in Cameroon map, I will not be able to
where is
tell you.
Gidigil? Where is... They will not say it because they are they are choking the brain of our children with nothing than useless things. It's good for those guys. What is good for is a child to say, I can go to Compania. He takes a bus and go. It's not possible. You will see why children taking the bus at 6 years go to places because it is mapped. We have Google, and they say no, they have Google Douala. There are some places if you hit here, Google will not even know. We have technicians. They are not doing their best in that domain. We are not doing our best.
To direct somebody in your house in Cameroon, in Douala,
it's a problem.
That when you reach this Carrefour, there is a Magida that is selling. Take a road to your right. When you go down, you see a bridge that goes down. You take left, you see a Carrefour again. Ask bike to direct you to.
It's voilà, c'est notre comme ça. So when you see our education, you see that we are not even serious. If you are not serious into education, well, we're serious in what? Because all those things are supposed to be put in place. Our teachers are complaining. We are thinking about works. Maybe in the English domain, we still have the names of our good teachers that are making some, some mathematics books or not like. The French milieu is always coming from abroad. So let them sit and make the study of the nation. Okay, we have studied the nation and we discover that in industrialization we can do this and we can do that. Let children be trained in that. When they grow up, they answer to the request. As a person, I used to ask myself, why the too much universities in Cameroon? Universities of this and that. When the children come out, they go to the government for school. Normally, in university was supposed to finish to teach a child and orientate the child to a job opportunity. If it's not possible, you close down because you're not helping us.
So which means that the educational approach is going to be based on real-time solving problems, and if universities are unable to make sure that
it's not
they
possible,
meet the needs of students,
that is
they will be closed down.
They will close down.
A melting pot of frustration.
That is it. A child who's coming out with a PhD degree holder into what? Bricklaying or into what? Into light. But the child has spend all his 30 years in school writing down. How possible? When he will come out, you want him to give a job because he has not studied how to create opportunity for himself. You understand? So if a university cannot finish to train a child and orientate him in a school, then it's not a university. Meaning the person having this university does not even understand what university means. It's universe. You must solve issues. Okay? You must bring quality to the children you are training. You are training them for who? For the government. When the government wants people, he said, I want people. Yeah. 30 of you, but the rest goes to where? The society.
And it's sad to see that many in Africa think that the government that should employ them.
Very sad. And this is the mistake.
Especially in Cameroon.
Especially in Cameroon. It's a mistake. Though the government did that to ensure that remain to stay on seat. But please, my sons and daughters, my brothers, government is to administrate. Government is to create ways, though they fail in that. But we can turn it up. Study, create your enterprises, and make sure you answer to the problem of the population. I'm not working for the government. I've never worked for it. They have solved many problems that you can imagine. Because what you study, you can create a kind of ecosystem and solve the issues.
So, educational forum is going to be called.
Yes.
Make sure that the teachers should ask themselves, what have we observed within our community?
Yeah.
And the policy that is going to be proposed is going to be a policy that will solve the needs of Cameroonians.
The needs of Cameroonians.
And also make Cameroonians to become competitive.
At the age of 15 years, a child should have a bank account. You should have something doing that is producing money.
So also you have highlighted that you are going to follow university strictly.
Strictly.
To make sure that they actually adhere to what a university
whether public is. Or private.
Because you are this means that you are aligning yourself to. I made my editorial to Professor Bernard Furlong, who wrote a book said any university without research facilities, without able to give students the opportunity to be creative, these universities are more of glorified secondary schools.
That is it. That is it. I align with him because university is ready. You are entering into research. You are proposing something to the nation. We can solve this. We can ameliorate this, or we can create this, but we don't see it.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you. We'll be coming to the next question to you. The next question is, I think maybe you have anything to add as far as educational policy is concerned. If I'm to the next.
Yes, what I want to add in the education policy is that our children should be educated, as I said, in their tradition. You see, in those days, when the fund was seated, the notables will sit beside him. When there is a problem, he will not say, as a king, I say. He will turn and right and left to say, how do you see? Our children should be trained in how to solve conflict. Go to our schools. You will see a child coming with a blind eye because the child hit on this child. Why? It's what they are showing on our TV.
Okay.
No regulation. Everything is brutality. Everything is porno. And the child grows with it. In those days, 15, a boy will touch you, you are shivering. Today you will see a young girl, small child, already dressing, having some kind of behaviors because it's what you watch.
Even our primary school graduation ceremonies, the kind of dance that the children
look at the dance of the children. Look at the song they even tolerate in our schools. Look at the dress, even the teachers. So that is education. When a child grows at the age, I had a child around my neighborhood. I used to sit and ask myself that, will she stand? 12 years. So the education is all about what the child sees, the environment, and where he grows up. So we are going to be strict on that. Parents will have their parent forum. Because you cannot say, no, parent can train. No, a parent cannot train his child the way you want because that child will fall in the society tomorrow.
So there is going to be parent forum.
Parent forum.
National or university levels?
You will be at different communities.
Okay.
Parent will register. If you are in the zone of where we are end of Road Bange,
yeah.
There's a community where parents will come and sit and they will train them how to educate their children. Because any child is the next president, is the next minister, is the next director. If he doesn't know how to manage your home, he will not manage the country. Just look around.
So there's going to be parent forum.
Forum.
So which means that each community will have a parent forum.
And we can now make this concours to see the best parent, because all is to to motivate so that they should see it that we're not insulting them, but we are trying to catch up for the past years of our negligence and all that.
Okay. We'll be coming back to you while we welcome Dr. Asong. Let us also take on these messages. I have a lot of messages. Good morning, the House of Commons, and greetings to all panelists in the studio. My understanding, the PhD holders in this time around are not complaining of not having teaching jobs or state university. They are complaining about unfair recruitment process, especially which took place at a newly created University of Ebolo. I am A.A. Jerry. And this other one says, please ask the presidential candidate to explain us basically how she will change our educational system, educational system, especially technical education.
Yes. Okay, thank you for the question. Like I said, the people that are the actors here are the teachers. We are going to organize a forum, teachers, make some checkups in the country of what we need. One thing we are sure of is that we need industrialization. Okay, we need to get to the technical level, fabricating our own bulbs, doing our own things, that even fun, why not? But we need to study first the milieu. We need to study our faults and our weaknesses. Once we are done with whom? The teachers, the people that will render knowledge, then we sit and say, okay, this is the budget that we need to reinforce our education and to make sure we have good results. So we cannot do anything by going back to the foundation. What are they learned and what are they capable to produce?
Greetings to everyone in the studio. I think it is right time for educated Cameroonians to act educated. Can you imagine using the national anthem as a morning song? The PhD holders presented their problems with lack of respect towards national symbols. The government provided the school, but sent no one to school. To each and everyone has to develop their spirit of entrepreneurship, because the government can't employ everybody. I am Alphonse Abongwa, writing from Yaoundé. Of course, I agree with you, my brother Alphonse Abongwa, that was a height of disrespect of our nation, not only to Mr. You may not like Mr. Biya, but we are talking about Cameroon. Most of the messages that are coming in. Let me take this other one. It says, thank you very much. I love the way the presidential aspirant has actually articulated. I think we can look at changing the educational system from a more better approach. We should be focused on looking at us to solve our Cameroon problem first than looking at the Western problem. We are copying and pasting. Can you imagine, Mr. Javi, artificial intelligence has come? Let me ask you, go to those professors and those doctors who are protesting. Ask them what is AI, how AI is being used to advance our nation. They will not tell you. They will still be telling you that we discovered the zero to India, Mongo Park. That's the only kind of education that they know. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Some of their PhD theses were actually borrowed, copy and paste from other journals. They should come and defend their thesis before the Cameroonian people in the market. If they can convince us, we'll recruit them to come and say in our shops.
Jesus Christ. That was harsh.
Please, we can also be patriotic now. Okay, we have been joined by Dr. Barrister Asong. Dr. Barrister Asong, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us. You are an independent aspirant. Also, we are glad to have the two independent aspirants here in the studio. So I'm sure that this is going to help Cameroonians to understand some realities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This is your first time you both are meeting on set?
Yeah, sure. Nice meeting you.
Nice to
sorry for arriving late. I had a small issue.
Yeah, you are in blue. The nation is in blue.
It's a color.
That's reality.
Color of change.
Thank you. Welcome. Now, Dr. Barrister, you watched the PhD protests, and one thing that caught my attention, I don't know if you caught yours, the singing of Cameroon's anthem while sitting on the floor. And also, should we be looking at PhD student protesting? Even if it's recruitment, it's the same thing asking for jobs from the government.
That is it.
Of course, Mr. Kta, we realized here that the government has no vision for education. And why do I say the government has no vision for education? It's because education is one of those basic tools which a country uses to develop. And you realize that our educational system today is a certificate-based system. So at the end of the day, you have people with certificates with nothing in their heads, with no competence, with no skills, with no know-how. For me, I'm very sorry. I understand the worries and the preoccupations of the PhD holders, but I don't think a PhD holder should be seeking for job. I don't think a PhD holder should be forcing the state to give them jobs. Yeah. If you are a PhD holder, it means that you have attained the summit of education in your field.
Telling you.
So when it means summit, is not only about the theoretical part, but also the practical part, because when you go for your master's, you defend a thesis, which is a practical work that you've done on the field research. PhD, the same thing. That means you go deeper in what you are researching or specializing in. So it means that there's something new that you have to bring to the society.
That is it.
And if there's something new that you have to bring to the society, I find it strange that PhD holders are having difficulties to get jobs. It doesn't make any sense. So, moreover, we realize that our education today has missed certain fundamental principles, like principles relating to ethics, principles relating to morality, principles relating to the respect of the state as an institution, as a person. And that's why today our people, or those who are educated, they have lost that credibility towards the population. They behave anyhow. They behave as if they were not educated. So when you look at what happened the other day, of course, it's unbelievable to realize that those who have attained the level of PhD still have to behave as if they are not PhD holders, singing the national anthem, wearing their PhD robes, and that's of course you are rendering useless what you have achieved. PhD is a very big achievement. So you can't do that. It's true. Might be because the way the state has been organized, it does not permit people to express themselves or to make use of their certificates. But yes, you must remember that you are a PhD holder.
The question is, do they understand it?
No, for me, I always say that I always try to understand. Like, I always try to say, okay, might be they are doing this for this and this reason. But the truth about it is that they must be reminded that they are doctors, they are PhD holders. Like for us medical doctors, 2 years ago, the Minister of Higher Education decided to degrade our certificate from a PhD to a master's. So there was no need to tell medical doctors go on the street. It's not necessary. I wrote to the Senate to tell them that it's unfair. We spent 7 years in school, and we were told that the system was an LMD system. Yes, so we are going to, when we are done with our training, we'll have a doctorate degree. So that's what we have been having till 2023, where the new law came and said that no, those who finish medical school 7 years, they'll instead be having a master's degree. I wrote to the presidency, no problem. But now, as an educated person, I don't need to be fighting with the Minister of Higher Education.
You need to come and change the system.
Of course, I need to just be president. The next day, I'm going to change it. And I promise all medical doctors that the next day, when I take power, their certificates are going back to PhD. It's either I have learned, I have had my education to be smart and to be able to put in place actions that are going to bring change, or that I learned nothing. So I don't need to be fighting unnecessarily. I just need to take my time, look for a good strategy, and hit where the decision making is being decisions are being made. Then I can bring the change that is going to make everybody happy.
Good morning, Mr. Jarvis, and to all those in the studio. Sharon from UK. I don't blame the PhD holders for anything. Some of them took loans to go to school, and many of them are frustrated.
No. You can't conceive that.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, what time is there? Okay, thank you very much. This one says, hello, happy Sunday to you, Mr. Jarvis. Greetings to my young man, Honorable Ye. A question to the presidential candidates: how do you intend to tackle the issue of dual nationality? I will ask both candidates that same question. I had it in my my question bank. Both aspirants, I'll ask them. But let me just move. Sorry, gentlemen.
No, yes, okay.
I hope you understand.
No,
yes, sorry, gentlemen. Gentlemen. Now, I think.
I'm used to you.
Okay, Mom. I want us to look at the economy.
The economy.
Okay.
Okay.
You are an aspirant. Hopefully, October, your candidacy will be effective.
Yeah.
How do you intend to tackle the economy?
Thank you for the question. You see, as a woman, you know, women are the one handling the purse. And when master is giving you money, it's not sufficient. You work your brain to make sure you get to the end of the month. So Cameroon has, like I said, it's a problem of foundation. Everything we took in this government is a pasted something, and we did not study our needs, study how to get there. When you go to the farm, or when you look at the agriculture in the country, everybody is doing is 1 hectare, is 10 hectares. Everybody is struggling to sell. At the end of the day, what you are selling, because the market is open, I come to you and I make you believe that your goods are not really relevant. So if I give you 5,000, it's best. But when I take your goods of 5,000, when I go and retail it, I can have 50,000. You understand? Because it's not organized. Normally, a country is supposed to organize all its workers, especially in that milieu. Imagine the country buying from all the agricultures. That is, you sponsor and you come and rebuy it, and you are the one selling it. Just tell me, Jarvis, how much money in billions can you create a year? But when you allow people to struggle on their own, at the end of the day, these Gabonese and all the country around comes in their field, buy it very cheap and go and retail. But if we, the government, sit down and say, okay, we have 1,000 of agricultures. Don't bother, stay in your field. Finish the produce, call us, we come and buy. We ship it in the different points of selling, and we're the one retailing. Cameroon is going to shine. Okay, so the first thing the country is supposed to do, I will not say the first thing they are supposed to do because they know what to do, they are not ready for it. The first thing I will do is to make sure all the people serving our nation, especially in the domain of agriculture and industrialization, should have a place where they know they will not think of who will buy, because the state will buy and retail, and it will help psychologically people to grow. You know that health, unfortunately, in the domain of health, we have removed psychology in our health. Somebody is not dying because he did not eat. He's dying because, like this, our PhD. This is somebody that went and sat down in a class for 21 years. That is, has forgotten he's a man. He will sit on the floor. It's
7 years primary school, 5 years.
7 years.
Secondary school.
7 years high school. It's 21 years of sitting in the class.
Then 3 years first degree.
That is
3 years first degree, 2 years masters.
Still 7 years.
And it's never even 7 years. It's never 7 years. It's always 10, 15.
That is it. That's why I said 34 years. 34 years somebody is sitting in the class. At a given point, the guy is sick. That 37 years, when he raised his eyes, the world has passed before him. And when he comes out, he's hungry, he needs to eat. He has forgotten that he was supposed to create food for others. This kind of thing should stop, you understand? So these are the kind of strategy we put in place to make sure when you're going to school, you know what you're schooling for, and when you come out of there, you don't need to be begged for. You come and say, this is what I've studied for, I can handle this. Okay, and there's opportunity to do so.
Something like a marketing board.
That is it. So psychologically, that kind of a person is smaller than the child of 15 years that is in a house where he has been given importance or value. You understand? So these things should stop. We need to come to a place where we think together. Don't always put it on the state. We think together on how to better, and that's why the people from the private sector, they will sit in the forum. What are you producing to Cameroonians? What are you selling? We don't control anything, and that's still economy, because if our people are sick in the head, they cannot produce. The government will pay much drugs to heal, although the money was supposed to go somewhere else to, to charge the boxes. So this is what I think I will do when I sit.
Okay, Dr. Aso, how do you intend to tackle the economy too, as far as those who are also watching us they are concerned? I'm sure last week you talked about the communal issue, almost the same thing that she's resonating.
Yeah, something like that, very similar. So actually, tackling the economy, I am putting in place a communist-based economy. So what do I mean by a communist-based economy? I mean an economy that is being driven by the government, because if we look at the definition of communism, communism is all about the state controlling majority of the properties and also the production chains, and the state is going to redistribute the benefits and the resources amongst all the citizens. So I'll take a very simple example today. In Cameroon, we consume about 90% of our products from imports. So it does not make sense that a country like Cameroon, with the natural resources we have, agricultural resources, mines, and every gift that God has given to us, with the intelligence we have, yet we still spend our time importing 90% of everything that we consume. It is wrong. If an economy needs to grow, it means that the difference between exports and importations must always give a positive. It means that we must be productive to permit ourselves to give more value to our natural resources, transform them, then we shall be able to sell these products in the international market. And that is going to give more value to our economy, is going to increase our GDP. If the difference between the exports and imports always give a positive balance of payment. So the communist economy is based on the government controlling the major production chains. When we look at what we have today, most of our state companies have been privatized. They have been poorly managed by government officials who at the end of the day have embezzled money from those institutions and have privatized them, calling on internationals or to come and buy these companies and manage them. And when these companies now make money, where does the money go to? There is capital flow. It goes out of the country. And that is the reason why today in Cameroon, our GDP is evaluated at about 32,000 billion. But yet our budget is about 23%, 7,200 and something billion. So it's about 23% of that GDP. There is a problem. So it means that almost 77% of our GDP is going somewhere we don't know, probably to private pockets. So we need to change that narrative. And to change that narrative, we need to bring in a communist economy. The communist economy will be state-driven. It's a state-driven entrepreneurship type of thing, where even if we are having entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs are not working for themselves. They are not working to put money in their pockets. They are working for the state. So the state is going to assist these entrepreneurs, which I will call state entrepreneurs, because we want to bring in the sense of community amongst us, where we don't only think of ourselves, but we think of others, and that will permit us to put an end to social classes, put an end to poverty, which is really affecting our population today, and it will make the government invest more. So the issues we have with capitalism, when people work individual in that way, the prone individualism will stop. So for example, if you have a project concerning agriculture, and he also has a project concerning agriculture, I'll put you people together. I say, no, work together, put your ideas together. I'm going to finance it as the state.
It's the state now. So
it's a state now, and I'm going to tell you that yes, you together, you guys are going to organize it. You guys are going to, it might be you play the role of the director, or he plays the role of the assistant director, but then the benefits will in majority come back to the state, because it's the state that is financing it. And you know, in the time of Ahijo gave a lot of subventions to certain business people, who today in Cameroon are claiming that they were extraordinary, they were smart, they are rich with their families, whereas that was the money of the state. And that is why I'm talking about communism, because in October, they'll have to give me an account. I'm going back to the past to ask them, if President Ahijo gave you this amount of money, it is our money that he gave you. So what have you done with it? And what are we getting back? Because this, you did not fabricate, you are not so smart or intelligent to become this rich. It is our money that you use. So you cannot behave today like it's because you were very intelligent or smart. So that's the first thing I'm putting in place. A communist economy will be based on that. Now, we must know that if we want to improve on our economy, then we must industrialize every sector. We have a lot of natural resources, but the problem we have is that we don't transform them. So just imagine, we produce cocoa, but we don't fabricate like chocolate in the large scale. We have Chococam. Chococam is not even a Cameroonian company. It's a foreign company. So when they make their money, they'll pay the taxes, which is about 20%, 25%, if they even pay, and the rest goes back. So when they are selling that product to us, they are selling it very expensive. Or if you buy chocolate coming from abroad, it's very, very expensive. So that is where the money is going to. They buy a kilo a bag. I think a kilo of cocoa should be about $3 in the world market. But a kilo of cocoa can produce about 10 packets of chocolate. You see, and when they are selling you the same chocolate, they are selling the same chocolate at 2,000. So why don't we transform that here
Which
to
will
give
create
more
more jobs.
value, and which is going to create
Because
more
there
jobs.
you are going to have human resource directors,
Of
legal representatives,
course,
communication representatives,
marketing, all those things,
laborers, all those,
exactly.
and probably will avoid protests in front of the ministry again.
That is it. So we have to make use of that. We have rubber, but we don't produce. We can't even make a ball. We like, all of us, we like football here, but we cannot even produce a simple ball. But we have a lot of rubber. We have a lot of cotton. So, but do we produce tissue?
Okay.
Our SICAM has been given to somebody else to manage it. Those are companies that have to come back to us. So if we are able to do that, industrialize all those sectors, even the pharmaceutical sector, so that we produce our drugs here, it will permit us to generate a lot of money. Moreover, we have other natural resources like petrol. We have crude oil, but for us to use our own crude oil, we have to ship it to France or abroad for it to be refined to come back here. So why don't we build a refinery that could be able to transform that crude oil to a finished product that we can be able to use? So it's all about industrializing those sectors. Who are those in charge? When you look at mines, who is controlling the mines? Who is controlling the timber? Where does the money go to? So that is why the communist system will come back to get back all of those
So
things.
you said in October they are going to give us accountability.
A serious one. That's no jokes.
Okay, before I come to mom here, let me read this message. This is you all in the studio. I love you all so much. Please, can these two independent candidates come as one, that we can vote them, because we are tired of old names of political parties who are tired of all names of political parties who have shown that they are there for themselves and not for the population. Christian, writing from Bamenda. Mr. Tai, kudos to my senior colleague, Dr. Barrister Asong, and the other presidential aspirant. In my life, if your dream doesn't scare you, then don't dream at all. Now, going on subject under discourse, the question is, does our educational system have the kind of training which is job creative? The failure begins from the mindset. In the university, I was made to understand that PhD holders is meant to lecture. This is coming from Z. Lawrence in Bonaberry. This other line says, happy to see the two presidential aspirant independent. This is what we have been dreaming of. We don't believe in parties any longer. The parties can be there and be fighting against each other on social media and calling each other names. These people here in the studio are saying what we need, and I think if they can work together as a team, they are already in blue, so it's already a good sign. If they can work together as a team with the mindset, I am sure that we can have a better Cameroon. Mr. Jarvis, thank you very much for this program, for bringing these two persons together. I have never seen where this kind of discussion is being held. I want to propose that in future, probably in the next future, you should come again with just the two, give them full time to explain their individual policies, so that many more Cameroonians will get to discover them and know that they are candidates of this magnitude who are young, vibrant, and that should be voted. I really love the program. Keep it up. Okay, this one's a good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis, panelists. Please kindly ask the young candidate what is the difference between a medical doctor after 7 years training awarded with master, the one after 7 years of training awarded with doctorate degree. I think he was supposed to focus on the quality of training of a medical doctor, not focus on certificate or to award them after training. Our system of education certificate oriented, not competent based as they claim we are today. Humphrey in Limbe. You want to attend that?
Yeah. I want to attend that. I think when I was sharing when my policy statements were being shared on social media, I was very clear about the education policy I want to put in place. It should not be certificate based, but it should be skill based. But we must also know that at the end of every training, you need a certificate, because it's not like the certificate is useless, but what we're trying to say is that people should have the skills that go with the certificate. Now, you won't expect a medical doctor to spend 7 years in school and you're giving him a master's degree. It's simply unfair. You are degrading the medical doctor. You're not giving him importance, and that's the reason why today medical doctors don't work with that engagement. They don't work joyfully. They don't practice their profession joyfully, because the state has not given value to them. So if you are a medical doctor, you are being posted. For example, I was posted to Oyumojok in 2014. I spent 3 years without salary. You can imagine, a very, very difficult area. and the population is not raising, you don't expect me to work effectively in Oyumojok if I don't have a salary. So these are the things we are trying to say. I think that the state, what the state has done today, has created an environment where professionals are being degraded in such a way that they don't practice their professions well. So I want to give value to those who are professionals. I want to tell a nurse that no, you are worthy of being a nurse. The nation is counting on you. I give you good conditions. I give you a good salary so that you should do your work appropriately. But if you come and the next day you're saying that medical doctors, their certificates should go down to masters, it means that you are insulting them. Not only have you given them the proper education, but in the same narrative, you are coming to tell them that doctorate degree, that 7 years that they spent, is not a doctorate degree, but it is a master's. It's so unfair, considering the fact that even our Minister of Health is not even a medical doctor. And I think that he was part of it to reduce that. No, we have had a very serious class. Doctor. He has a problem with us, and we also have a serious problem with him.
Okay, doctor.
Yes.
I wanted to say something.
Yes. Before I'll ask you my question.
Maybe in the system we can we are not sure of the training that our doctorate degree even claim to have, because you will see somebody that they paid his entrance in the QS, and he finishes and he's claiming to be a doctor. When you send that person into the hospital, he cannot perform. So I believe that we are just accepting this because it's there. But when we step into power, if you have a certificate, it's not because you went to school and they signed it. In fact, your certificate is your proof in the field. I think if we start giving certificate that way, we'll have less people that will stand and claim I'm a PhD holder, because it's what you can do that can give you a certificate. It's what you can bring to the population, because this population is the pride of the country. You cannot step at, like, seriously, all of them are going abroad for treatment, but their children are medical doctors. Why? Because they know the road they passed to get there. That's why they cannot even dare to step, and the guys took him a minute. So only the fact those guys have
different budget
that
to
is
send
it.
To the hospital.
Only the fact they are doing that is to show they don't trust their medical doctors or their medical products. You understand what I'm saying? So we are going to change all that to make sure if you stand to say you're a medical doctor, is that you went to the field, we saw you doing. It's not you go to school and write theory. Theory does not make you a medical doctor. All of us can have it. But you have to practice it, you have to perform, you have to make sure when a mommy comes to the hospital, you welcome her. Some of them, psychology. This is 80% of what I'm going to do in this nation, is to make sure Cameroonian psychology are restful. We have suffered for more than 60 years. I mean, we need rest. We need rest. A Cameroonian should walk in the street and be proud to be a Cameroonian. Like when you say, I'm a Cameroonian, you go to the US, when you say you're a Cameroonian, people bow before you. Because we have oversweated and we pass through a lot of stress. People should respect. When a woman stands and she's pregnant, before she say, you have already carried her and put her on a seat and even fan her, because she's a Cameroonian. And we pay for it, we overpaid for it, we sacrificed for it. You understand? So today we are talking about it because other people did. But when we are going to step into power, we are going to do it. I'm young enough. So I wear my jeans and my sport. I get to your office and I look at you. If you're not pleasing my eyes, I will sack you. This thing of I'm a child of no, it will not work. So if you're not fit for the job, you're not fit.
So
okay?
Which means that you'll be moving.
They know me. People that work with me, they know. I'm from company, I told you. I went and shower very fast, I'm here. So we are going to go round. If I send you somewhere, tomorrow you are meeting me on your bag. Yes, Mama, I say, yes, my son. How's the report? Because Cameroonians need accountability. Leaders that will tell them that we'll spend 10 million today. This is how we spend it. This is the rest. Because their money will misuse. Okay? So. Okay.
Now I'll ask my
question. You have to ask.
Ask my question. Yeah. I have a lot of messages coming in. People are saying that some are even proposing that we should have this discussion, the two of you. So I will give them time to ask you people questions.
Okay, that would be sweet.
So I will, after the program, we may sit and decide that they want to ask questions, because there are a series of questions they are sending that Mr. Jarvis will have questions to ask. We have questions.
Okay.
So I don't know how we have issues. We have talked about education. We have talked about the economy. Just of recent, Cameroon was ranked among the most corrupt nations again. Just of recent, you have talked about instability.
Yes.
How do we solve this issue of corruption now?
You see, corruption is not a problem to Cameroon. What is a problem to Cameroon is that Cameroonians are not patriots. I said something in the beginning. You cannot train a child to be accountable and the child grows up not to be. Everything is starting at the base of the foundation. What are parents teaching their children? I faced a situation one day where the child of a big man in this country said that he can kill somebody and nobody will ask him. Why? Because he was brought up that way. That whatever he does, they will clap for him and you have guts.
Not to cut you short, somebody told me this yesterday at the Mount Cameroon Reserve.
That is it.
One of the semi guys, I was filming. The minister was coming to my area. So the guy just came and pushed me. And when I reacted, I said, but if you could have just asked me reculer.
That is it, simply.
The guy came, wanted to slap me. The minister bodyguard came and held him and shouted at him.
You see?
And when he shouted at him, I thought that the matter had gone. Then the minister bodyguard was telling him that the paper parle comme ça, il fait son travail.
Oh.
The guy told the minister bodyguard that moi aussi j'ai fait mon travail, tu ne me dis pas quelque chose à faire. So when they went, I went me somewhere, and the guy went and called his other colleague again. They came and were threatening me, telling me that they can kill me and nothing will happen.
That is a society.
And this is something that I just said I should have this on record.
Yeah.
Because it's sad that I was not a threat. It's a secured environment,
Yeah.
accredited,
Yes.
doing my job, and I was from a distance, and you had a right to just tell me shit, and I was not even on the minister walkway. Just to add to what you are
That's
saying.
what I'm saying. So it's education. First of all, it's family education, it's society education. And that kind of a person, they told him that you can kill. Nobody will ask you anything. It's a problem. So when he gets to an office where you will handle money, he can steal. Nobody will ask him anything. So corruption is not a matter of you cannot solve it. It's a problem of education. How are we educated? Do we love our country? When you go to the US, I used to cite US because US had the same story with us. They were colonized by 5 different empires in their time. They went through hell, but those guys reason to say. That's why my model of policy is George Washington. He said America is for every Americans, but Cameroon is not for every Cameroonian. Cameroon is for a group of Cameroonians that have decided that it's our home. We do whatever we want.
Few.
So corruption is not a problem. Corruption is a system of few people put in place to remain on seat. Meaning, if they kick them out because they will kick them out, we put a new system where you touch a franc, you go to prison. Who will touch it? That you steal at night at the trees or carrying you to put you where you belong. Nobody will dare. So it's a thing. That is it. That is it. So this is something we need to treat at the foundation, teaching our children that when they give you money, go to the store, come back and give the money. Allow mommy to tell that no, take the rest. Some children are put in the pocket. When you ask, they give you a slap. Why? Education. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, corruption here Cameroonian can be solved at the twinkle of an eye. It's a discipline, it's education. When somebody does something, you call the person attention, you rebuke the person. Firstly, secondly, the next day he will not try it. But if he does it, you say no, let's see how you change. No, when you steal, they don't see how you will change. They start telling you that stealing is not good. And when you do the second time, some of us parents, when we beat our children, it's not because we hate them. It's to make sure that they become good people in the society. Why are you not beating those ministers? Why are you not handling them properly? Why? Because it is a system that is put in place to serve the head, to make sure the, you know how they call this animal? Please help me that in English. La pieuvre. This sea,
yes,
the sea devil, something like that.
I think it should be the, I forgot, is it seal? Also, I forgot.
Yes, the name is, so that is how they're functioning. You have a hole.
Like an octopus.
That is octopus.
Yeah, an octopus.
A hole has 7 hearts, 9 heads. So the rest you don't, they take resources from you to feed the 9 heads and the 7 hearts. So it's a small group of people that is handling it. So you cannot even say corruption is a problem. The system leaves, corruption will go. Every of the tasks we are having in our society will go with the system, because they are the one oiling it. Can you imagine a child will stand in front of people and say, I can shoot you there, nobody will tell me anything. He cannot say that for nothing. He says that because he has been doing things and nothing has been done. He will steal in the coffers. They will say, oh, no, just leave it now. If you dare, the father is the director. And so what? Cameroon is a country of every Cameroonian. Somebody should stop and ask account, and they give him account. They should know how much the president is having, because that's where corruption is starting. You don't know the amount you are paying your president. It's a problem. You don't know the money he's spending during the year. It's a problem. But if you start saying that, okay,
he has not even declared the asset.
That is it. So you should say that, you should know that my president is costing $1 million. So the day you take him, you see him taking the flight 10 times per year, you know that it's more than $1 million. So you can calculate that this is the amount of money has been spent. But no traceability, no accountability is from from the family. It's from education, and yeah, it's a system we have tolerated, and this must stop. If we want to treat corruption, we must trace everybody account. Nobody is above the law, even the head of state. Yeah.
Okay. Let me take on this very important one, Dr. Asong. Maybe before I take on that, let's not degrade the discussion for now. We are looking at corruption. I think Mama has actually pointed out something you said last week about the issue of accountability and transparency, publishing names and numbers. So how do you intend to tackle this in detail now? This is almost the last one without much time, but unfortunately. The bad messages.
It's okay.
For me, corruption has three main components. You see, three main factors. The first thing is the type of leadership we have. We have a very, very unserious leadership that is not accountable, that is not transparent. And you know, the attitude of those below is always triggered by the way those above behave. So if we have a government that has never done things correctly, that has never even won an elections except by fraud, except by other means, we have a government that has been imposed on us by our colonial masters, then of course everything that will be going on in the country will completely be a sham. That's why I totally agree with my co-candidate that the first thing is that the system must change. That leadership must go away. Now, the second thing with corruption is that the socio-economic environment does not permit Cameroonians to survive with what they earn. That we must speak. That is the truth. Today, the poverty threshold is at about 330,000. So it means that anybody living below 330,000 is considered poor. Now, when you look at our civil servants, most of them are below 300 and not even 330 is even too much. Most are below 100,000.
That is it.
You see. So what can they do when rents are high? When landlords impose their rents on others? If si tu ne veux pas, tu laisses. If you don't want it, you leave it. Those are things we have to change. When the cost of fuel is very high, 840, whereas it arrives at the Douala port at 339. So the prices of everything will increase. Food, because you need cars to transport things, everything is going to increase. When healthcare is inaccessible and the fees are extremely high. When education, which is said to be free for primary schools, people find themselves paying fees, and that the government has poorly managed the educational system in such a way that if you really want your child to have a good education, your child must go to a private school, and that private school, the fees are very high. So at the end of the day, people cannot survive. So the only thing they are going to do is to extort money from people, and that's how corruption is being fueled. I even believe that is the main problem, because it's true, education is important, but at the end of the day, if you are extremely hungry and you see something, you want to pick it because you are struggling to survive. So it's some sort of instinct to survive.
Survival of the fittest.
So what has to be done at that level is that we must make the environment conducive for everybody. We must make sure that people are having befitting salaries. We must be able to work on all those basic necessities which are high. Like
reduce the cost of living.
Reduce the cost of living. I'm planning to meet landlords and to put in place a fixed price of rent. And I'll not be arguing with anybody, because you can't build a house and you claim that you're going to fix a particular price. You hear of houses, prices of houses, 150,000, 200,000 for 2 rooms. No, it will go down to 50,000. It will go down to 50,000. It's either we want to make things good for everybody or we want to enjoy ourselves. So those are things that I'll have to work on. Increase the salaries of civil servants, make the cost of living low, so that a civil servant today who has a salary of 100,000 can feel that he has a salary of even 200, 300,000, because all the prices of basic necessities have gone down. Now, when I'll be able to work on that and make sure that everybody is comfortable, now I'll put in place a law to seriously control and sanction. And when I talk about controlling, there will be a special ministry for control, a special ministry just for that. Because today you are going to realize that we have a project. We only control that project after 3 months. And in the space of 3 months, they'll tell you that somebody has embezzled 10 billion. No, it cannot work. So when we give a project to somebody, we'll tell him that, okay, what are the micro activities you are doing? So what are the daily activities you'll be doing? So we'll start monitoring you from that time. So if today you have said that you tar 50 meters of road, at the end of that day, we are coming to control. And if you don't tar that 50 meters per day, then we'll sanction you immediately. And we'll tell you that for the next day, we're not going to give you the money. So those are things that we want to put in place. That control, transparency, and also make use of the population, because the population too can serve to control. So if you go to an office where one of the civil servants there maybe wants you to bribe, or might be is behaving in a very sluggish manner, because that's sometimes the strategy they use. They will take your file and they will delay it. Something that could be done in 30 minutes, they will delay it 3 weeks just for you to come and give cheap some money. If you complain, that person is first of all suspended. Before we are looking into the case. If what the individual or the citizen is actually placing allegations against the individual. So when we are able to do all of that, then of course we put in this very severe sanctions, and that will permit us to resolve the problem of corruption. Today we are 134th on 140 according to the Justice Index. So that just goes to show you how unjust our system is. And there are certain criteria in the Justice Index, and one of it is corruption, because it is everywhere, even in the courts, even in schools, in the hospitals, it's everywhere. So we must put an end to that by putting in place that ministry that will do micro controls. And please let no citizen dare complain about you, because it's also trying to work on our type of customer service. If we don't do that, then our civil servants will feel like they can behave anyhow and they can do things the way they want.
So what you both are saying is that the phrase "notre comme ça" will never.
No, it can never be our concern. It's not possible. We have to change that.
Let me take this very important message. I have a lot of messages, but this one is very important. And I think people are almost the same. Saying the same thing. Please, if I don't read your message, I apologize. There's not much time. We apologize for that. Hopefully, some of your issues will be handled after this program. Yeah. Happy Sunday to all the people in the House of Commons, the two independent presidential candidates who are just so good with their political policies. Development is basically the creation of wealth that is beneficial to the community. We have two main factors in development, soft and hard factor. We cannot blame the PhD holder for poor conduct, because they are studied to handle the soft factors of development, which is teaching. Have you seen engineers doing same? Definitely not, because they are trained to handle the hard factor of development. Most Cameroonians only want to be, it's not clear, okay, you intended to say want to be leaders, but not there really. I wish to ask the two presidential candidates in the House, what service do you render to your community that you think can model you to become a very good president? Thanks for your understanding. Mfi Allen writing from Boya.
Cameroonians, they want to ensure. They want to ensure.
No, they have a right.
That's
for me.
No, I'm just looking at the time to answer, because I have a lot of people have said
30 seconds.
Okay, briefly, Doctor.
Okay, it's been 2008. I'm working in the humanitarian field where we travel around. Like I said, I was coming from a place where we are going to teach. We are teaching population how to handle their crisis. One of the things Cameroonians is that we have turned our eyes to the government. In fact, we were trained for that, but it's a pity. You should be able to handle your problem and ask for help to ensure that you are certain. So that's what I'm doing, going around training people for free to make sure that when time comes, because if you are not trained, even if they give you meat, you will not know how to cook it. If they give you money, you will know how to use it. So when you are trained, you prepare the ground like an agricultural or a farmer that feeds the ground, but while waiting for the rain. We are trying to prepare Cameroonians that this is how you're supposed to behave, so that when we come on seat, you not ask us again to say, government did not give us this. Now receive us when we come, when we knock at your door, because we are traveling around. I already make my schedule tour to go train population first. We are not talking about politics. Train yourself, register yourself in an electoral list, so that when the time comes, you will know where you are going to ship your vote. But first of all, the government is part of you. Maybe not this one, because they showed you that you are up and you are down, but some of us are coming to be collaborators. So you have your part of responsibilities in what we're about to do. We have our own part. Is that you get trained. When there's opportunity, you answer the call of the government. Because some people do not even answer the call. They will say, like, it's true that sometimes we cannot blame the population. Like, we have the national TV. If you're not connected to the national TV, you don't have good information, and that is wrong. All the TV stations that respect the curriculum of registration should be given opportunity to transmit the good messages. There are some Cameroonians are not aware even of the program of the government. That's why bribe will come. Because when you go to ask, they will say, give me this, I will give you. Although it's your right to be informed, you see. So this is what we are doing, going around telling the population that this is your right, this is how you're supposed to behave, this is the training we have, and that we can afford to give, because training is money.
Yeah.
The few we can give, we give, so that we prepare the ground. When we come on seat, you will be easily coming to say, I was trained in this, and you can point finger at me, that mommy, you trained me. Where is job? I will have no force than to give you a job.
Okay.
That is it.
Thank you. Doctor, briefly.
Yeah, very brief. Yeah, I for one have been conducting a lot of humanitarian activities as a medical doctor and also as a barrister. So on the medical field, we have been organizing free health campaigns, and that I have been doing since 2013 after medical school. So I'm a Christian. We used to conduct health campaigns and couple it with evangelization. So we have been to so many places, Komavukani, Nyanon, where again? Well, there are so many places we have been to, even in Douala and the rest. So we have been doing that a lot, assisting widows, assisting orphans. And I think they are the widows that told me that, doctor, you could be a good president and help us resolve our human rights issues. So, which I decided to go to law school and become a lawyer. So as a lawyer too, I also assist them. I assist widows. I work in partnership with the Ministry of Women Empowerment, and I'm in contact with so many associations of widows who usually have issues in obtaining their hereditary judgment that will give them access to succession, the succession of their husbands. So of course I assist them pro bono. So that's what I've been doing for now, and that's
I'll
the
come
reason
to you,
why.
doctor.
Okay, and that's the reason why I am going in for presidency, because I want to make the lives of those who have been helping better. And I think if I'm in the place of decision making, then certainly I'll be able to better their lives. And certainly to do that, I'll need to boost the economy and make everything cool so that we can achieve all those social activities.
Mr. Asia, thank you for coming.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Javis. It's a pleasure, and I'm so happy. I love the serenity that was here, especially with the two independent candidates, because if there were two political parties here, it could have been wahala. I feel like somebody said in the message, they should come together, and maybe one is the president, another one the prime minister. Cameroon.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. I am happy to have met the two presidential candidates. Somebody telling me that we should be aware of them because they might be using the population to get attention like others have been doing, and I hope it's not the case. So though, I am very happy that they are here and they are bringing out good policies. Please, but there's something you have not actually hammered on.
Maybe because of time constraint.
Yes, they should go on. They have not told us how they are helping the people to register, how to vote them, the people, the electorate. So you have to work on that, and that's why we keep encouraging Cameroonians to register on the electoral. The elecam is everywhere in Cameroon now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Any last word briefly to the people?
Okay, thank you, people, because you are making this project. You are the actors. I used to say that power is you. Never listen to somebody that will tell you that you need him to be empowered. It's because of you we are standing on this program. It's because of you. After 6 years and a half, they come because they know you have the power to say step down or step up. So this 2025 election, you are the boss, and you need to sit down and make sure you know you're going to give your vote, because your vote is a treasure. Your vote is a seed that must produce. And don't be afraid of bread or whatever. Be afraid of your destiny you're about selling for a cup of water, or no matter the amount of the money. So now we are talking about destiny. We're talking about survivor, and you are the part of this. You are part of this, and you're supposed at the end of this to be proud that I'm the one that put that one on seat. and sit, vote, support your vote. Though we're not supposed to say in a normal country, but still the country is not normal. Let's do things that are abnormal to make sure normal things come up.
Okay. Doctor, yeah, any message briefly? We're out of time.
Well, what I would simply like to say is that 2025 is our year of change. We have all been awaiting this year to come, a year where we could elect a new president in the image of our founding fathers. And of course, here we are. This is our year of change, and we must take advantage of this year, because if nothing is done this year, then we might probably be going in for another 40 years. And I can see the atmosphere being heated by the fact that people are getting more and more interested in politics, which is something very, very good. And I'm encouraging each and every Cameroonian to get more and more involved in politics, because I am encouraging a government by the people and for the people. So this said, please get registered on the electoral list. Tell all those around you who are not yet registered that from the age of 20 years you can get registered on the electoral list. You need an ID card to do that, and whether it be in Cameroon, you can go to Elecam branches in Cameroon, or abroad you can go to the Cameroonian embassies in the countries where you find yourself, or neighboring countries. And this said, I'll encourage all of you to take part in the October 2025 presidential elections, so that together we can bring the change we desire for a better Cameroon.
Breaking news. All those of you who registered on for your voters card, all the voters cards are now available. Go to wherever you registered. All voters cards are now available. They have produced and they have actually submitted them to the different areas that you registered. So from 2021 till date, till that was 2 weeks ago or so, if you had registered, don't say that my voter's card has not come. It is available. Go and pick it up. As mom said and doctor said here, that you have the key. And of course, nobody should tell you that election does not matter, that they have already won. If they have won, they will not be disbursing money for campaign. If they have won, they will not be sending their ministers to come to you and give you serious campaign bonuses. If they have won, they will not be actively spending time, because if they have won, nobody will spend money where they have won. If they have won, they will not be mobilizing actively. So nobody has won the election until it is casted at the ballot. So no matter the matter, what should matter is that you should go and vote. I want to wish happy birthday to you, Nemo. I want to wish you happy birthday to you, Efeti, who celebrated the birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to all those of you who are celebrating your birthday this February and this February ending. That God should continue to guide and protect you. My name is Tamai Jarvis, Cameroon's commercial capital, Douala. Until we meet again, as usual, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.
Bon, here we go.
No, it's Javi that cannot see from that place.
Until we meet again, bye-bye.